Good afternoon. Welcome to another daily reading. This is not Genesis. This is Exodus 3 and Luke 9. I read from the Institute for Scripture Research, the ISR, because it takes a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Greek to English, and Aramaic to English. Yah is the Elohim of the heavens and the earth, the first and the last and the only, and he's an extremely jealous El. He's so jealous that he doesn't even want the names of idols or mighty ones to come to our lips. And Yah is short for YahWeh, YahWeh, Yod-He, Vav-He, Yahuwah. It's like saying Dan, Daniel, Daniel with an E. What is the difference and does matters when people say that Phil, Bob, Sam, and Aaron are the same name when no, they're not, and no one in their right mind would ever believe that, and only a fool would believe that a hammer could force its creator to do anything. And there was no letter J in the Hebrew, Greek, or Aramaic text because the letter J is about 600 years old, while the son of Elohim, Yahushua, the Messiah, sweat blood and was brutally murdered on a stake, and spent 3 days in Sha'ul, and was resurrected on the third day for the sins of all of humanity, in which this is a pretty good reason not to trash his name, by the way. We are to also keep him set apart from everything else, so don't call him by another idol. It's insulting to his name, and he's an extremely jealous El. Remember, he doesn't even want idols' names to come to our lips. Well, I'm not I'm not just thinking that on the spot, stuff like that. That what I'm saying comes from the word. You can look up what I'm saying in the word. It's not my mouth. You may not agree with what I just said, but it's not my mouth, it's the word. So you're not attacking me, you're attacking the Creator. In a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Yeshua, which is short for Yahoshua, is Joshua, not Jesus. Joshua. Jesus is Greek for Hail Zeus. Not Hey Zeus, not Hello Zeus. It's Hail Zeus. It's giving worship to an idol. It's nothing to do with the Messiah. It's a disgrace. In Christ, the Greek idol Christos, they used Christ, the short version of Christos, to identify all of their idols, and it was around well before they came out with BC, before Christ, so it was super easy to just throw BC in there. Before Christ, before they started naming their idols Christ. It's a misconception people don't really understand as to why they came out with BC. That's why. Idol worship. Trying to secure the idol worship. So people are like, well, what about this or what about that? And it's hard to it takes a lot of research to go and find this information. There's a lot of garbage there. I wouldn't suggest doing it on your phone. I suggest grabbing a real computer because the phone is just censored like crazy. Like crazy censored. And the son of Elohim's name, Yahushua, means Yah is salvation. Yah will save his people from their sins. The name of the Father is in the name of the Son. Where is God, which there's only one God, the pagan idol of fortune. It's an oxymoron to say what God do you worship, because there is only one, the pagan idol of fortune, the one that Leah named her child after. In the Torah, they were hardcore worshiping idols still. They didn't stop worshiping idols. There was days where they put their idols away, like the word says, they put all their idols away. Even the leader would hide them behind a tree. They still worshipped idols hardcore. And two of the biggest ones they worshipped was the calf from that was an Egyptian Mitzrayim idol, as well as God. God is an Egyptian idol. It's a pagan idol. But yeah, where is God in Jesus if the name of the Father is in the name of the Son, right? But YahWeh, Yahuwah, Yahshua, Yahoshua, Yahusha, it's right there in his name. Yah, 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 Yah. Yah is his short as well, so it's right there, plain as day, undeniable. It's insulting to his name to use idols. We need to stop. This world is going to burn anyways, regardless of what we decide to do. But why join in it? Why make it easier for that to happen? Why not just let evil people be evil and just do good? Why is that so hard and so unbelievably unthinkable? It's strange. And to think this is only birth pains. Things are going to get so much worse. All the friends you thought you had, you will find out if they're real friends or not. Your own selfish intention is going to be what kills you. That's going to be a big one. Like I was reading some RT News. The best part about RT News is they're literally supported from specifically all over the world, not just Moscow. It's also the United Kingdom and all these places that, and in America. By the way, they have one in America. So it's completely unbiased, which is why I love it. And it is being silenced quite a bit. People don't talk about it. That being said, I don't talk. Well, the people I do talk to them about it, they don't read the news because it's used to listening to like the news on the radio or the news on like the TV. You know, the one telling you all the lies. Hate communism. Even though there isn't a lick of communism in this country, but let's blame that. And just because Russia's partly that, we're gonna just blame it all on Russia. This Russia phobia garbage. It's pathetic. People need to grow up. Iraq didn't bomb your buildings. Your own government did it. Talking about 9/11. Killing 2,000 people to gain support for war. Operation Northwood. You should look it up. First introduced to Nixon, or not Nixon, JFK, who refused it. Thought it was a disgrace. It is a disgrace. Oswald had all the right witnesses to prove that he was innocent, and they didn't care. They just assumed guilt and then had him killed. Because that's the government for you. Tyrannical, disrespectful, unconstitutional. And the reason why they're like that is because we are like that. We are disrespectful human beings. We are a disgrace to humanity. We are a disgrace to the Creator. We have turned to our own ways, and so He has let us be in our own ways. And there are people that are above us, that are millionaires and billionaires, and they own whole countries, and they've got giant families, and they own 70% of this world so far. They are, again, in their own ways, doing what they want, just like the rest of us, only they have the power to do something about it, and they're doing it. And they're going to try to make this world into their perfect little slave population of, 500 million? Of us, some 8 billion? It's insane. But we did this to ourselves, and it is time to repent of our wickedness and to turn away from it doing evil things to each other and to respect each other and to love each other and to forgive each other. If we do not forgive those who wronged us, then Yahweh will not forgive us for wronging him. Let's get into this. This is a daily reading. I'm already 10 minutes in. Got my talk on. I love it. Exodus 3. Excuse me. And Moshe, Mosheh, which is Moses, was shepherding the flock of Yithro, Yithro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, Mid with a line underneath of it, Yan, and he led the flock to the back of the wilderness, and came to Horeb, H with a dot, Ore with a half a check mark, B with a line underneath of it, the mountain of Elohim, and the messenger, so Yahushua Messiah, and the messenger of Yahweh appeared to him in a flame of fire from the midst of a bush. And he looked and saw the bush burning with fire, but the bush was not consumed. And Moshe said, let me turn aside now and see this great sight, why the bush does not burn. And Yahweh saw that he turned aside to see, and Elohim called to him from the midst of the bush and said, Moshe, Moshe. And he said, here I am. And he said, do not come near here. Take your sandals off your feet, for the place on which you are standing is set apart ground. And he said, I am the Elohim of your father, the Elohim of Abraham, A-B with a line underneath of it, R-A-H-A-M, the Elohim of Yitzchak, Y-I-T-S-H with a dot A-Q, and the Elohim of Jacob, Y-A-A-Q-O-B with a line underneath of it, which is James. And Moshe hid his face, for he was afraid to look at Elohim, and Yahweh said, I have indeed seen the oppression of my people who are in Mitzrayim, Mitsraym, which is Egypt, and have heard their cry because of their slave drivers, for I know their sorrows, and I have come down to deliver them from the hand of the Mitzrites, the Egyptians, and to bring them up from that land to a good and spacious land, to a land flowing with milk and honey, to a place of the Canaanites, Kenanites, and the Hittites, H with a dot, Ittites, and the Amorites, Amorites, and the Perizzites, Perizzites, and the Hivites, H with a dot, Iwwites, and the Jebusites, Jebusites, Y-E-B with a line underneath of it, U-S-I-T-E-S. Now I got a question for you. Where in there does it say Palestine? It doesn't. Palestine is not one of the lands that Israel is supposed to have. So what Israel's currently doing is the exact same thing they paid for Germany to do to their citizens in order to become a state in the first place, a Holocaust. And now see the cry of the children of Israel, Y-I-S-R-A' with a half a check mark L, has come to me, and I have also seen the oppression with which the Mitzrites oppressed them, and it was great oppression, like insane, not great as in good, great as in extreme. Like calling America great. America isn't great, they're extremely oppressive and extremely horrific. But they're great as in like they're the greatest of that class. They're the worst of the worst aside from Israel, which isn't the people of Israel, by the way, the 12 tribes that were scattered across the world until Yahushua Messiah's return. No, that's not the people I'm talking about. The people I'm talking about, Israel, the state of Israel, is Babylon. Babel exiled 10 of the 12 tribes, and Assyria exiled 2 of the 12 tribes. They're in exile. The people that are standing in their place, Israel, the state, isn't Israel. People who are bowing with Israel because it's Israel as bowing with Babel. Just little points there that matter. And now come, I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the children of Israel, out of Mitzrayim. And Moshe said to Elohim, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh, and that I should bring the children of Israel out of Mitzrayim? And he said, because I am with you, and this is to you the sign that I have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Mitzrayim, you are to serve Elohim on this mountain. And Moshe said to Elohim, see, when I come to the children of Israel and say to them, the Elohim of your fathers has sent me to you, and they say to me, what is his name? What shall I say to them? And Elohim said to Moshe, I am that which I am. And he said, thus you shall say to the children of Israel, I am has sent me to you. And Elohim said further to Moshe, thus you are to say to the children of Israel, YahWeh Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Yitzchak, and the Elohim of Jacob, James, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and this is my remembrance to all generations. Over 6,000 times does the word say that Yahweh's name and Yahshua's name matters. Do not bring his name to naught, N-A-U-G-H-T, nothing ruined or lost. Calling him by the pagan idol of fortune, which is what every single idol on earth gets, means his name is nothing anymore. Just another idol. That's what it's being turned into. And Lord, Hebrew for Baal, calling him Baal, nothing ruined. His name, you're ruining it. Elohim is plural for mighty ones. Elohim, which is Arabic, is judges or rulers, or judges and rulers. There's the S's still with a capital letter on each one. Sorry, not the fallen angels, they're demons. They still get a lowercase. Either way, the fallen angels and the angels, the messengers and the demons, they all get a lowercase. Even Satan gets a lowercase. Not when he's called Satan, that's a name, but like when he's called like the wicked one, it's not a like the mighty one, capital M, capital O, talking about Yahshua or talking about Yahweh. And then you get his name, Wicked One, which is a lowercase w and a lowercase o, because he is not the creator. His name is not set apart. His name is not like theirs. I'm just going to read that one part again, because that is just fire. Exodus 3:15. And Elohim said further to Moshe, thus you are to say to the children of Israel, YahWeh Elohim of your fathers, YahWeh Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Yitzchak, and the Elohim of Jacob has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and this is my remembrance to all generations. Go, and you shall gather the elders of Israel together and say to them, YahWeh Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, of Yitzchak, and of Jacob, James, appeared to me, saying, I have indeed visited you and seen what is done to you in Mitzrayim. And I say, I am bringing you up out of the affliction of Mitzrayim, out of the land of the Canaanite, and the Hittite, and the Amorite, and the Perizzite, out of Mitzrayim to the land of the Canaanite, and the Hittite, and the Amorite, and the Perizzite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite, to a land flowing with milk and honey. I mixed up that one word, and it changed the entire meaning of what I was saying, and I stopped because it didn't make sense to what I was just read. I was like, wait, go through that again, reading each individual word, letters. Okay, there was the one I made the mistake on. Change, reseed, reread. Bam, makes sense. Love it. Hallelujah. And they shall listen to your voice, and you shall come, you and the elders of Israel, to the sovereign of Mitzrayim, and you shall say to him, Yahweh Elohim of the Hebrews, because Israel, the 12 tribes, are the Hebrew tribe of Israel. They were all Hebrew at one point. Yahweh Elohim of the Hebrews has met with us, and now please let us go 3 days' journey into the wilderness to slaughter to Yahweh our Elohim. But I know that the sovereign of Mitzrayim is not going to let you go, not even by a strong hand. He knows he's not going to let him go because he knows his heart. He knows how wicked he is. And for the first 3 times, Pharaoh's the one who hardened his own heart. And I shall stretch out my hand and strike Mitzrayim with all my wonders, which I shall do in its midst. And after that he shall let you go, and I shall give you this people favor. And I shall give this people favor in the eyes of the Mitzrites. And it shall be that when you go, you shall not go empty-handed, but every woman shall ask from her neighbor and from her who sojourns in her house objects of silver and objects of gold and garments, and you shall put them on your sons and on your daughters, and shall plunder the Mitzrites. Simply by asking them for stuff, they will plunder them. That's how fearful they'll be of the children of Israel. They will give them whatever they ask. They will literally plunder them. Luke 9. And having called his 12 taught ones together, he gave them power and authority over all demons and to heal diseases. And he sent them to proclaim the reign of Elohim and to heal the sick. And he said to them, take no matter at all for the journey, neither staff, nor bag, nor bread, nor silver. And it's fancy English on matter, so bring like absolutely nothing. Neither have 2 undergarments, and whatever house you enter, stay there and go out from there. And as for those who do not receive you when you go out of that city, shake off the dust from your feet as a witness against them. And going out, they went through the villages, bringing the good news and healing everywhere. The good news was the reign of Elohim, Yahweh's word, which at this point was the first writings. So not doing away with the first writings at all. And Herodes, Herodes, the district ruler, heard of all that was done by him, and was perplexed because it was said by some that Yohanan, Yoh with a dot, Anan, which is John, had been raised from the dead, and by some that Elijah, which is Eliah, this is Eliah, Eliyahu, Elijah, E with a half a check mark, Liyahu, had appeared, and by others that one of the old prophets has risen up. And Horde said, Yohanan I have beheaded, but who is this of whom I hear such reports? Fancy English, reports. And he was seeking to see him. And the emissaries, when they had returned, related to him all that they had done. And he took them, and they withdrew by themselves to a city called Bethsaida. Beth is B-E with a half a check mark, Y-T-H. Saida is T-S-A-I-D with a line underneath of it, A. And when the crowds knew it, they followed him. And having received them, he was speaking to them about the reign of Elohim, and healed those who had need of healing. And as the day began to decline, the 12 came and said to him, send the crowd away, that going into the surrounding villages and country they might lodge and get food, because here we are in a lonely place. But he said to them, you give them to eat. And they said, we have no more than 5 loaves and 2 fishes, unless you go and buy food for all these people, for there were about 5,000 men. And he said to his taught ones, make them sit down in groups of 50. And they did so, and made them all sit down. And taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, having looked up to the heaven, he blessed and broke them and gave them to the taught ones to set before the crowd. So they all ate and were satisfied, and 12 baskets of the broken pieces were picked up by them. And it came to be, as he was alone praying, the taught ones were with him, and he asked them, saying, who do the crowd say that I am? And they answering said, Yohanan the Immerser, but others, Eliaiah, and others say that one of the old prophets has risen up. And he said to them, and you, who do you say I am? And Kêpha, K-E with a half a check mark, P-H-A, answering said, the Messiah of Elohim. Messiah is Greek already, by the way. Another easily debunkable idea the Christians use of how Christ is Greek for Messiah, but Messiah is actually Greek for Hamasiach, the anointed one, I believe is what it means. And strictly warning them, he commanded them to say this to no one, saying, the son of Adam, A-D with a line underneath of it, A-M, has to suffer much and to be rejected by the elders and chief priests and scribes, and to be killed and to be raised the 3rd day. And he said to them all, if anyone wishes to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his stake daily and follow me. You could call it a cross. It's literally a single piece of wood and an extra nail. For whoever wishes to save his life shall lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake shall save it. For what is a man profited if he gains all the world and is himself destroyed or lost? For whoever is ashamed of me and my words, of him the son of Adam shall be ashamed when he comes in his esteem. So when the Messiah comes in Yahweh's esteem, and in his Father's... when he comes in his own esteem and in his Father's. Okay, yeah. And of the set-apart messengers, lowercase m's, of course, because they're just messengers. They're not the messenger. But truly I say to you, there are some standing here who shall not taste death at all till they see the reign of Elohim. Because when you're a believer and you die, you don't actually die. Like, your spirit doesn't go down to Sheol. Sheol is a place of the dead. You go to sleep. So you're just asleep waiting, and then you just wake up and there you are. It's Judgment Day. And the people who are non-believers, they go down to Sheol, the place of the dead, darkness and gnashing of teeth, which doesn't sound like fun at all. Just saying. Anyways. And it came to be about 8 days after these words, taking with him Kêpha and Yohanan and Jacob, James, he went up to the mountain to pray. And it came to be, as he prayed, the appearance of his face changed, and his garment dazzling white. And see, 2 men were talking with him, who were Moshe and Eliah, who have appeared in esteem, spoke of his death, which he was about to complete at Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, which is Jerusalem. A lot of the names are quite similar, a lot of names are not. But Kêpha and those with him were heavy with sleep, and having awakened, they saw his esteem, and the two men standing with him. And it came to be, as they were parting from him, Kêpha said to Yahushua, Master, it is good for us to be here, and let us make 3 booths, one for you, and one for Moshe, and one for Elijah, not knowing what he said. And as he was saying this, a cloud came and overshadowed them, and they were afraid as they entered the cloud. And a voice came out of the cloud, saying, This is my Son, the Beloved. Hear him. Yahushua spoke the words of his Father, and that was it. So every single time Yahushua said, keep my commands, he was talking about Yahweh's commands, Yahuwah's commands. Hear him. And when the voice had spoken, Yahushua was found alone, and they were silent, and reported to no one in those days any of what they had seen. And it came to be on the next day, when they came down from the mountain, that a large crowd met him. And see, a man from the crowd cried out, saying, Teacher, I beg you, look at my son, for he is my only child. And see, a spirit seizes him, and he suddenly cries out, and it convulses him with foaming, and scarcely leaves him, bruising him. And I begged your taught ones to cast it out, but they were unable, because these take fasting and prayer. And Yahushua answering said, O generation unbelieving and perverse, how long shall I be with you and put up with you? Bring your son here. And as he was still coming, the demon threw him down in convulsions. And Yahushua rebuked the unclean spirit, and healed the child, and gave him back to his father. And they were all amazed at the greatness of Elohim. And while all were marveling at all that Yahushua did, he said to his taught ones, Lay up for your ears these words, for the Son of Adam is about to be delivered into the hands of men. But they did not understand this saying, and it was veiled from them, so that they did not perceive it. And they were afraid to ask him about this saying. And a reasoning arose among them, who might be the greater of them. And Yahushua, having seen the reasoning of their heart, took a little child and placed him by his side, and said to them, Whoever receives this little child in my name receives me, and whoever receives me receives him who sent me. For he who is least among you all, he shall be great. And Yohanan answering said, Master, we saw someone casting out demons in your name, and we forbade him because he does not follow with us. What a bunch of fools. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. And Yahushua said to him, Do not forbid him, for he who is not against us is for us. And it came to be, when the days of his taking up were being completed, even he set his face to go to Jerusalem, and he sent messengers ahead to him, and they went and entered into a village of the Shomeronim, Shomeronim, to prepare for him. And they did not receive him, because his face was set for the journey to Jerusalem. And his taught ones, Jacob and Yohanan, seeing it, said, Master, do you wish us to command fire to come down from the heaven and destroy them, as also Elijah did? But having turned, he rebuked them and said, Do you not know of what spirit you are? For the Son of Adam did not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. And they went on to another village, and it came to be, as they journeyed on the way, that someone said to him, Master, I shall follow you wherever you go. I just want to point out that Yahushua came, when he came for the sacrifice, he came to save the world. But when he comes again, he's coming to bring destruction and a sword. And Yahushua said to him, The foxes have holes and the birds of the heaven nests, but the Son of Adam has nowhere to lay his head. And he said to another, Follow me. But he said, Master, let me first go and bury my father. And Yahushua said to him, Let the dead bury their own dead, but you go and announce the reign of Elohim. And another also said, Master, I shall follow you. Let me first say goodbye to those in my house. But Yahushua said to him, No one having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the reign of Elohim. That's some strong words. But Yahushua said to him, No one having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the reign of Elohim. In other words, when you become a believer, if you just constantly keep looking back and keep sticking to your old ways, you are not fit for the reign of Elohim. And if you are not fit for the reign of Elohim, you will not enter the reign of Elohim. Only those fit will enter. Faith without works is dead, and works without faith is dead. You must have both. The entire word is completely important, and to throw any bit of it away is to be a fool. Hope you enjoyed this daily reading. Hallelujah.